Avoid this to get rich. What wealthy people do. Hey, have you been wondering, how do they have all the money? I don't have the money. I'm just as good looking as them. I'm just as tall as them, just as thin as them. How do they have all this money? Well, it's quite simply put, because of what they're not doing that you may be doing. In this video, I'll share exactly with you what those things are, and we're starting right now. Hey, thanks so much for joining me on my channel. I really appreciate it, which is really your channel. This channel is designed to help you sell more, make more, and do more in life. Okay, so I've sold millions of dollars of both digital and physical products since 2009 online, and on this channel I just share with you what those things are so that you can get good results too. I also want to give you a free course. It's below in the description. It's a $97 course, but I'm going to give it to you absolutely free. It's Click and Learn. If you haven't done so already, there's a subscribe button there. If it's red, oh my God, you need to change it. The only way you can change it is by clicking it, and it'll turn gray. And then what will happen is a bell will magically appear, and you need to ring the bell. If you ring the bell by turning on all notifications, you'll be notified every single time I do a video or I go live. Give me a thumbs up, and don't forget to comment below about what you think real success is too. I want to hear your opinion about that. Now let's look at this. Let's look at all the things that poor people do that rich people don't. The first thing is they fail to invest in themselves. Okay, you need to invest in yourselves, not other people's products all the time. Okay, and this could be time, it could be money, it could be working out, exercising, it could be learning a new language, it could be watching interviews. You know, we have access nowadays to interviews, actual interviews with billionaires, where you could sit down and you could go to YouTube right now and you could watch interviews with Bill Gates or Warren Buffett or Elon Musk or any number of these people who've already achieved things, and they want to tell you what you need to do. You could actually go listen to it, but instead most of us go to YouTube and we watch just entertainment. Now I'm guilty of entertainment. I have some entertainment, but I also understand I need to pick up a Joe Rogan interview every now and then too, because he has some interesting people on there who have achieved some interesting things. And it kind of spirals when you go and listen to some of these interviews that people are doing, guys. It will lead you to other things. I remember a couple months ago, 2-3 months ago, I was watching a Joe Rogan interview, and he was interviewing a guy named David Goggins. I'm like, who's David Goggins? I don't even know who he is. And it turns out he's the toughest guy in the world. And I was so inspired by him. I got his book. I'm listening to his book now on audio. So when you dig into some of this stuff, people say, well, how'd you find that guy, or how'd you find that restaurant, or how'd you find this? You got to look. Okay, that's the number one criteria for finding, is looking. Okay, people don't look, they sit at home and wait for stuff to come to them. No good idea is going to walk up to your front door and ring your doorbell and go, look, I'm a good idea, check me out. It's not going to happen. Okay, you're going to have to look for it. You've got to actually put forth that effort. So failing to invest in yourself is the first thing that poor people do. The next thing is your circle of influence. What and who is your circle of influence? You need to go beyond where you were as a child. I think it's so interesting when people see somebody who's been really successful and they say, yeah, they got successful, and they left all their old friends behind, and they don't hang out with them anymore, and they don't do stuff with them anymore. Those old friends had the opportunity to go along with that person and become successful. They did. They had that opportunity. But if you don't grow as a human being, if you don't become a better human being than you were when you were 5 years old, well, shame on you. Okay, if you're still hanging out with the same group of kids that you did in first and second grade, I don't think any of you probably did well, unless you're all just super wealthy and every one of you just really exceeded. Okay, which is pretty rare. Normally what people say when somebody gets successful is that they left all their old friends behind, and the reason they left their old friends behind is because they had to, because those old friends were not on the same journey. They can still associate with them, they can still talk to them, but they can't spend the majority of the time with them because they're at a different level. And it's not because they got wealthy that they shun those people. It's because they actually did more than those people, and that got them wealthy. Okay, so you've got to look at your circle of influence. Who is it that's influencing you? Are you hanging out at the bar and watching the game on Sundays? I promise you that is not the most successful group of people. I don't see Elon Musk in happy hour. I just don't see it. I don't see it happening. I don't think Warren Buffett is hanging out at a bar complaining about the economy. I just don't see it happening. Okay, so if you're in that circle of influence, you got to change it, or your life won't change. Now some of you are going to tell me, well, JR, I live in a poor neighborhood. There are no good influences for me in this neighborhood. JR, I live in a poor country. Our country is extremely poor. You have no idea what it's like. Well, I'm here to tell you that in every bad neighborhood there are some good influences. You may have to look long and hard. Maybe you've got to go 2 streets over, maybe you've got to go 5 streets over, maybe you got to get out of your neighborhood, go to the next neighborhood, but you can find some good influence. Same thing with a poor country. Even corrupt communist countries have some successful people in there, and you got to search them out, and you got to talk to them, and you got to hang out with them, and you got to figure out what they're doing. You got to listen to them, you got to apply what they tell you. And that's another thing that's really frustrating as somebody who's been successful. You know, I've sold some stuff online, and I go through the same frustration. Is we tell people to do certain things. We tell them, hey, you're gonna have to put forth this effort, you're gonna have to work on this YouTube channel for a couple years before you see any results, and they just don't do it. You know, they just let 2 years go by. And a lot of people will say to me, JR, I don't want to have to spend 2 years working on a YouTube channel. I don't want to have to spend 6 months studying, you know, how to sell products online. I don't want to waste that much time. No, you are going to waste time, because you're not doing that. The waste of time is letting the 6 months go by and not doing anything. The waste of time is letting 2 years go by and you still don't have a YouTube channel. That's the waste of time, not actually putting in the effort. Now, people will say, well, I don't mean it like that. What I mean is that, what if I spend 2 years and nothing happens? Then you spend 3, then you spend 4, then you spend more time. That's how that works. Okay, you just don't quit, you just keep doing it, because I know that if I keep working on something, it'll do better. You know, I started my YouTube channel 5 years ago, did nothing with it. I mean, I did a few videos, and I expected, like most people, you know, hey, all of a sudden I'm gonna get tons of views, I'll make a lot of money. It didn't happen because I didn't put enough effort into it. And then about 7 months ago, 8 months ago, I started working on it. I started doing better videos, I started having better content, I started doing it more consistently, I started doing it more often. Today I'm going to film 13 videos in a day. I'm gonna spend the entire day just filming videos that I planned out for a week in advance. And that's a lot of work, but guess what? I'm getting more views now. I've got more subscribers. Hallelujah. What do you know? All of a sudden you put in some effort and you get results. My wife has a YouTube channel. Check it out. Furry Family Coach, Jessica L. Fisher. You got to check that out. We'll put it on the screen there. She's worked on that channel really hard, and she helps people with dog training, and she has all kinds of great videos on there, and she's monetized. She makes money every single day because she puts forth the effort. Are you lacking that one thing? Are you lacking that effort thing? Who are you hanging out with? Who's influencing you today? Now, the next thing I want to talk about is education versus entertainment. All of our lives are comprised of education and entertainment. We have both those things in our lives. Okay, they're there. Entertainment's always there, education's always there, but picking and choosing between those two are going to determine if you're going to be successful or not. Poor people tend to pick entertainment over education more often than rich people. Rich people pick education over entertainment more often than do poor people. So how do you do this? You know, what's the difference in these things? Well, you know, most individuals will say, well, when I graduate high school, I finished my education. I've actually had people say that. I went through high school, I finished my education. You know, and I got to say, when I was a kid, I probably thought that way, but I've learned over the years that that's just not the case. You know when you finish it? Never. When you die, that's when you finish your education. You know, some people say, well, I went through college though, JR. You don't understand. I became a physician, and you know, I finished my education. Now, you probably didn't. You probably have ongoing training. I know a physician, a cardiac guy, and you know, he's a cardiac surgeon, and he not only did that, but he started coaching other doctors, and he's making more money on that because he studied that. So even at that level, he didn't quit his education. You should never quit your education. You should always learn something new as long as you're alive. Now, here's the cool thing. The more education you get, the more opportunities will be presented to you. The more you know, the more opportunities will be presented to you. What are they and where are they coming from? I don't know. They just kind of show up. They just kind of show up. When you learn different things, you will have opportunities that the average person does not. The average person doesn't do much. And here's the cool thing I want to share with you. It's really easy to get ahead because there's average people. And how many people are average? The majority. The majority of people are average or below average. The majority of people will not invest their time in exercise. The majority of people will not invest their time in watching interviews with successful people. They just won't do it. They won't do it. So if you do that, even if you do that some, not all the time, but if you do it some, you're going to get ahead of those people just because you're doing something the average person doesn't do. And who wants to be average anyhow? Who wants to be just the middle of the crowd that nobody even notices? Who wants to be that person? I know you don't. Here's the interesting thing too. I think people spend their money on education and they spend their money on entertainment, but most people won't spend their money on education. Most people will go out to a movie and spend $15–20 for a movie ticket, but they wouldn't spend $20 for a course online. It's crazy, right? One of them is going to be, you know, for an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours. 2-hour ones I don't like, I get sleepy, but for an hour and a half or 2 hours they're going to watch a movie and get some entertainment, and then it's gone forever. If you spent $20 or $100 on a course and you learn something new, you can apply it for the rest of your life. Which one is a better investment? Which one do you think is a better investment? Most people will say, well, if you tell me how to do stuff and you don't charge me, then maybe I'll do it. No, you're a whole lot less likely to do it if I don't charge you. If I charge you for a course and you pay me for something, the more you pay me, the higher that amount that I charge you, the more likely you are to do something with it, because you made an investment. You say, well, heck, I spent, you know, $100 on JR's course, I spent $1,000 on his training, I'm going to do something with it because I spent $1,000. If I give you a course, you know, I've given courses to people, they don't even open them, they don't even look at them, they don't even watch the videos, like, oh, thanks, you know. Now I am going to give you a course to get you started after I said all that, but the point is, if you invest in yourself, if you invest in training, you're more likely to get something out of it. If you invest in entertainment, that's all you got that moment of entertainment and nothing else in the future. So it's really important that you invest in training, spend some money on training. And I know you can watch my videos for free, but I've got some stuff you can buy too, and if you buy the stuff, I can promise you, you know, you're going to get something out of it, and you're probably going to be a little bit more successful than if you just use the free stuff. But if you want to use the free stuff, that's fine too. We only need a small percentage of people to buy my stuff for me to keep being able to do these videos, right? So I hope this helps you out. I hope you understand the difference in that rich person, that poor person, and what they're doing and how they spend their time and how they look at things. If you change your view towards these things, guys, you will get different results. I promise you, promise you, promise you. Take this advice, apply it for a year or two, see what happens, come back and see me, or put your comments below right now. Let me know what you thought of this video. Let me know what you thought of these ideas that I've given you here. Have you tried some of these things? What have you found that works for you? Also, if you haven't subscribed, the button below, look at it, go ahead, it's still red. You got to change it, and the only way you're going to change it is click it, and as soon as you click it, it turns gray, and then magically a bell appears, and you want to do this to the bell. You want to ring the bell, you want to turn on all notification, give me a thumbs up. If you turn on all notifications, you become part of the Fisher family, the VIP group that gets notified every single time I do one of these videos. It's pretty awesome stuff, right? You can actually talk to me when I go live if you turn on all notifications. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Hey, thanks for watching my video. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and click that little bell right there so you can be notified every time I do a new video. Also, click on one of those videos there. Keep watching on my channel.